What's up, guys? Before I jump into it, I want to let you know that tonight, and hopefully a lot more in the future, I'll be live over on my Twitch channel playing some Warzone with friends, so I'd love to chat further with you all. If you're interested in hanging out, the link will be in the top of the description below. That said, let's jump into the content at hand. It's been a little while since we've had a community update from Infinity Ward about Modern Warfare and Warzone firstly, but also it's been even longer since we saw one that had something of solid substance to it. Usually when these come out, they're just kind of the standard, hey, we changed these playlists earlier in the week, have a good weekend. It's relatively that kind of thing, but last night we actually got a really good look at what's to come in next week's update. One that looks to be that mid-season update, perhaps just a little bit ahead of schedule. Unless, of course, we end up seeing that maybe we have two back-to-back blockbuster updates that supersede the normal playlist updates over the course of the next 14-ish days. But regardless, today I want to break down everything you may have missed in Infinity Ward's mid-season preview and also what you need to be aware of. So with that said, drop your thoughts down below. What do you think of the coming Match 3 camo that we discussed here in this video? And as well, do you think this is the mid-season update? Because it is a little bit ahead of that actual mid-season point. Do you think that we'll see a larger update as of this week that makes it the definitive mid-season update? Or do you think maybe it's multiple updates across a couple of weeks? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts down there in the comments below. But as well, if you are new to the channel, do be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare and Warzone, because this week in particular is gonna be big, so you won't want to miss it. But anyways, let's jump into it. Firstly, they started out by talking about two things that have already happened. Firstly, the start of the multiplayer free access weekend, as well as a little bit of a statement on cheaters and the coming anti-cheat plans for Modern Warfare and Warzone in particular. So firstly, with the free access weekend, if you guys are a part of, say, the free-to-play Warzone player base, you'll notice that there actually is a playlist now that you can jump into and experience some of the full multiplayer experience right there from your free-to-play version. This comes with what was previously 5 maps. It's been taken out down to 4 because there were some bugs with Ania Palace, but there were 5 maps of Sawmill, Backlot, Ania, Condor Hideout, and Shoot House, and that's available from as of yesterday until Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you guys have that free-to-play version and want to try out the full game a little bit further, that's there on offer. But the other big thing that they talked about was that of cheaters not being welcomed in Warzone. And with any free-to-play game that is absolutely massive, of course, there is going to be a percentage of players that, especially on PC, will mod or hack the game to allow them to cheat in some capacity, whether that be aimbot, whether that be wall hacks, whatever it may be. That sort of stuff always persists in free-to-play games because if you ban them, they can just make another account. So at that point, it comes down to the anti-cheat in place and plans of action to minimize that to the best of their ability so that the overall gaming experience of the community at large isn't tarnished. Now, they reiterated what they announced on Tuesday, talking about how this week, right now, someone that reported a player of suspected cheating will now receive an in-game confirmation when that player is banned, allowing you to know that, hey, if you reported this guy, it didn't go unnoticed. You helped take down a cheater. But then they also laid out their additional measures and a coming soon feature of the additional measures being that they deployed additional dedicated security updates. They increased the resources across the back-end tech at the studio and enforcement teams, and my favorite personally is they updated matchmaking to match suspected cheaters with other suspected cheaters. So I think that's hilarious. Players that thought they could troll the general player base because they have these godlike aimbots, they're now going to be trolled by Infinity Ward themselves by being matched only with other cheaters. So pretty funny if you ask me, but they also mentioned that coming soon would be a report a player functionality to kill cam and spectate modes actually in-game, making it easier to streamline that process for community reporting. So some good stuff here coming out of that and what's been detailed already, but as for what they mentioned is coming up, we got a little bit of a preview as to what we can expect for next week in Modern Warfare and Warzone content. In the subsection titled, "What are we working on?" they ended up saying currently targeting April 28th for our next update. Patch notes will go out shortly before the update begins rolling out. Next week also holds some playlist updates. Modern Warfare will see Shoot the Ship 24/7, now with Cranked and Grind in the mix, along with some fun gunfight variations. There's also something new to chase. Can we interest you in Obsidian camo? Or maybe you want to mix and match Blueprint weapon attachments to your heart's content, even on other Blueprint weapons. Now that right there is incredibly revealing for the upcoming content and things that we've been looking forward to for quite some time. Obviously, those playlists are there. They're going to be stuff that you can play around with. Shoot the Ship is going to be great if you need to rank up any weapons or unlock any camos that you want to try and get for weapons. Shipment is, of course, just always the best here for that, and it'll help you get back into that rotation for it. Shoot House isn't half bad either, but what I think is curious is that I think this is definitely strategic because this Obsidian camo that we'll talk about in just a second is apparently contingent only upon having gold for one specific weapon, whatever you want to do here for it. So it's kind of a stepping stone rather than getting Damascus. You can do it on whatever weapon you want. You don't have to complete the whole suite of gold camo but you'll need gold camo to take that next leap to obsidian camo. However, talking about that camo, we now know a little bit more of it. Obsidian camo is something that, one, sounds pretty cool, but when you actually look at some textures or what obsidian could look like in terms of a camo pattern, I think that this actually could look really cool. A sort of darker, metallic and glistening camo, something that may not be necessarily super flashy, but at the same time is just flashy enough. I'm definitely interested to see here how this will look on weapons and what we'll be able to see the pattern itself look like. Beforehand, pre-launch, I talked to Joe Seacott at one of our capture sessions early out in Los Angeles, and that's where he first told me about Damascus. And when I looked it up, I was like, this is really cool. I still think Damascus is really cool, but it wasn't exactly what, say, Google Images will show you when you look up Damascus. So I'm wondering how much of a variation there will be here with this, but it seems like we're not too far away, and that Tuesday or maybe Wednesday, depending on when the update rolls out, whether it be late at night on Tuesday Pacific Standard Time, so therefore early morning Wednesday for the rest of the world, I don't know, but I'm really excited here for this. If I were to take a guess, I actually do think that this may be exclusively related to, or at least have a large chunk related to Warzone. That's my educated guess. It's the first major introduction after Warzone's release. So with this being the newest thing on the block, and of course the newest game mode on the block for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, it would seem like they want to push a little bit more traffic here for this. So what better way to do that than add a new mastery camo that may result in Warzone usage? But that said, that is all we know about this so far, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. The other big thing, though, that was mentioned here explicitly was that of the new Frankensmithing feature, the custom blueprints, where you can combine different attributes of various different blueprints and make one Frankenstein blueprint, if you will, where if you want to, say, have the pink M4 body with the gold M4 body, you can do that. But what's interesting is that this kind of seems to have taken a little bit of a curveball, where what we knew of previously and what has been mentioned up to this point every single time is that it was seemingly only between weapons. So you could only use M4 attachments with other M4 attachments. You could only use AK attachments with other AK attachments. But it seems like that's changed, because the last phrase of this detailing says even on another blueprint weapon, which makes that a game changer. If you can use the pattern of anything that you wanted, that essentially means that you could transfer blueprints to other blueprints, almost then acting as if it's a universal camo. And that is something I'm incredibly excited for if it works like that. I'm assuming there's going to be something that doesn't work one-to-one, but the prospect of sharing attachments even across different weapons is an awesome thought here to me. So that's something I'm incredibly looking forward to. But again, they did detail a little bit more of what's to come still. They mentioned that on PlayStation 4 and Xbox with the April 28th update this upcoming Tuesday, this is going to be a critical update that's required to even enter Modern Warfare. You're going to be prompted to install the patch and select a mode, whether that be multiplayer, campaign, spec ops, or Warzone, and then you'll be brought to the game install menu. And once you download that, what is going to be data pack number 1 from the menu, the download will complete itself, and then you'll have to hard close your application and reopen the game to end up accessing it. Now, I think we've seen smaller bits of this earlier in the year, but it was more so for a bunch of stability stuff, and that's something that seems to be the case here with this. There's probably going to be a bunch of back-end fixes that this data pack is installing, and therefore is required to access the game. So unfortunately, it's an extra step here that you're going to have to take, but is a necessity for the actual integrity of the game build. But that's something that we'll be talking about later in the week as well. The other thing that they mentioned is actually some previews of the fixes for what's to come in the update itself. It's not the entire patch notes, but they did actually list out some of it already, to which they're talking about a bunch of bug fixes for, say, the Vega 64 GPU issues on PC, where the milsim operators appear as default custom operators. They fixed the camo for the SKS and the Renetti, where camos wouldn't unlock properly. They fixed the bug where some challenges were inconsistent. They fixed the bug where players would lose their favorite faction in the operator menu. And one interesting one is that they adjusted the speed and the sizing of the circle in Warzone. That is, of course, something that was mentioned as just a sliver of the patch notes, so there's going to be a lot more to discuss come Tuesday, but some good news changes and also some ones that are curious to see how they'll affect the gameplay itself. The big one for me personally is, again, that speed and sizing of the Warzone circle. How much is it going to be changed? Is it sped up? Is it slowed down? Is it something that drastically changes the sizes of the circle? Whatever it is, we'll have to wait and see, but it definitely is something that, again, this entire update as a whole for the community was a lot more insightful than recent weeks in general, but also just community updates for the past month or two. Now, I'm going to end this video off talking about the mid-season update with a lofty little prediction here that I think may actually happen. I think that we might start to see something dealing with the Warzone map or Easter egg finally happening here. I know this might be something that's just throwing something at the wall to hope it sticks, because really, I'd love to see something happen with the map and, of course, maybe a little bit of an Easter egg for the community to hunt for. But it's been this long now. It's been over a month, going on 2 months now since it's launched, and we haven't seen anything adjusted here with it. And with something that is a forced major update, I don't know, I feel like that would be just something that makes sense. It seems like we're venturing off into that time where we're kind of like, you gonna do something, Warzone? You gonna change something? In which I don't mean that in a negative light or anything like that, just more so a collective curiosity that hasn't really had any progression towards figuring out what the Warzone map, bunkers, telephones, laptops, and all that kind of stuff are leading to. I just think it's possible something could happen. At least I'm hoping so. Honestly, I think that while I'm excited for a new camo, the new Frankensmithing feature, I do hope that something happens with this. I want to go on an Easter egg hunt. I'm just feeling it lately. But anyways, that's where we're going to wrap it up. So I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. What do you guys think here of this? Are you looking forward to this? What, maybe the mid-season update? Or you guys think we may get a map, maybe a map adjustment for Warzone outside of, say, standard MP? Are you looking forward to the new Mastery camo? You're looking forward to the Frankensmithing? Whatever it is, let me know your thoughts. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare, updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff we got you covered on our channel. So if any of that interests you, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, there's the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. But that said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.